Hey, it's Dan McDonald here. This is a video for my hardcore viewers. So I've been blasting you with videos, video marathon here, promoting thriving in a dying world, how to achieve true health in a world of confusion, deception, it's my favorite one, and misinformation. And so it's gone very well. And so it's obvious that I have about 2 or 3 hardcore viewers that really care about me, that are really interested in what I have to say. So that's available for a couple more days. And the reason why I did that was because of what's going on in the world and what's been going on in the world for a long, long time. And not everyone is going to be able to get on board with natural, holistic living. And right now you're seeing a suppression of the information, and there's a reason why. Google's parent companies, Google and YouTube, have started a couple of pharmaceutical companies, a couple years ago. And so that's when we began to see the diminishment of any holistic health and healing channels diminish. Now I get no subscribers, and people get actually unsubscribed from my video queue. And so people aren't seeing my videos as much just because there's a certain type of information that they want to go out to the public. And then there's a certain type of information that is the truth that will set you free. And so if it was up to the corporations, the chemical companies, the pharmaceutical and medical companies, and the food manufacturing companies, you would just be a dead blob laying on the couch, eating potato chips, popping pharmaceutical drugs. But if you want to live, there's another type of information that you need. Okay, and so that's why I put together Thriving in a Dying World. And that was just the beginning. And today was the day that I got my first negative feedback. I probably had 50 or 60 positive emails, maybe even more. Those are from my personal email. And then I know that the girls over at customer service get a lot more. But this morning I got my first negative comment on Thriving in a Dying World. Now that's, usually we have had about a 1% return rate, which is probably the lowest in the industry. So I do have such a great relationship with you, and I appreciate that. And believe me, I'm not an idiot. I know the value of that. So when I go away and stuff, I feel bad, but you try to understand that I am working diligently on mastering myself and mastering these principles. I'm not sitting around lollygagging, riding around in a 47-foot yacht, having parties with $500 an hour hookers. That is not what's happening. I'm sitting here meditating, I'm doing research, I'm fasting, I'm practicing all kinds of different experiments, and I'm working on myself and I'm working on my health, mostly to develop the spiritual consciousness, locking into one idea and staying there. But as far as being a blessing to the world, there's this natural health information, and the reason why I know it is because I went from a homeless, impoverished drug addict, and now I live without any drugs at all. So I understand the inflammation in the brain from the heavy metals, and then you do the cannabis and it kind of numbs you out. So there's even certain cases, because people want to know, like, I am really, really, really glad that I don't do cannabis, I get it. People think it's this wonderful medicine. They think all these other plant medicines are wonderful medicines. I think there is an ultimate medicine. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to judge anyone or put anyone down, but I believe that there is an ultimate medicine that just harmonizes and heals everything. There's a process that the body, mind, and spirit goes through. But I believe in the ultimate medicine. I want to speak the ultimate truth because I believe in the ultimate freedom, at least for myself. And if I believe in ultimate freedom, the absolute freedom, in the highest possible sense, then how could I share anything else with you other than that, even though I know it's not going to make me popular on social media? Because giving all these things up to get free is not easy. We have all become very comfortable in our own illusion. And so to break free and to let go, it's kind of like the pleasure versus happiness. And pleasure is part of the deception. Sugar, alcohol, cigarettes, and all the other soda pop, these delicious and tasty foods with chemicals that light your brain up, but then all your brain cells go dead. And so you've got these incredible rushes of dopamine through the pleasure, but then you need more next time. So then the dopamine reaction goes up, and I've been through this whole thing. I was addicted to every drug there is and pharmaceutical drugs, painkillers. And then what got me to quit painkillers is when my friend popped a couple Vicodin with me after I got ran over by a bus. That's how I got strung out on those again. But then he's on the floor going into a seizure. So I went in there and I dumped those pain pills down the toilet and flushed them. And I never took those pain pills again, because I'm like, if that's going to make him do that, then I don't want that. I don't want to have that to happen to me. And he was more strung out than I was, So, so basically I'm just saying that I've been through the whole, dopamine, but then the serotonin in your brain and the potential for serotonin gets diminished. And serotonin is happiness, contentment, and peace. Dopamine is like, yeah, baby, all right. And then serotonin is, but then you got to keep doing, first it's 1 toke, then it's 2 tokes, then it's 4 tokes, then it's 8 tokes. Then it's a whole gram, you know what I'm saying? Then it's a whole blunt with like 3 grams in it just to get, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm talking about. First, it's a half a glass of wine. And you're like, yeah. And then pretty soon, after a while, months or years, it's a whole goddamn bottle every night or every other night or a couple times a week or whatever. And I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying that for me, I have personally wanted to do this other way. And that's why I share the information on thriving in a dying world. And I'll admit, okay, I didn't look that good. I didn't feel that good at the time. But I thought to myself, Dan, enough is enough. I had put that off for 3 years. And I'll admit, I wasn't feeling my best. I wasn't looking my best. And I wasn't my sharpest on that program. But I was afraid because I had been suppressing myself so much for so long because of the divisiveness of the things that I really believe in. That's why it's like, if you're going to be like, look, my name's Dan McDonald, I think that less of all of this crap, less of all of it, you fill in the blank. Hell, right now I'm on day 2 of a dry fast. Oh my God, you're crazy. You're not going to even drink water. It's like, okay, I'm not insane. I know what I'm doing. It's just an experiment. I want to try this out. I want to master dry fasting as well. I need more data. I've only done a few 3-day dry fasts and 1 7-day dry fast, and I want to learn more about it. That's what I'm doing. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly testing myself, pushing my envelope, and moving forward, not in these crazy and insane ways, but very one step at a time for what I'm ready for. Some people can't even make it 1 day without food. I find it to be very easy at this point. But when I first started, I'd set out to do a 24-hour water fast and I'd make it till like 10 in the morning, and now it's just more of a choice that I make, and then I deal with the phenomenon that occur, which after many, many fasts as I've done, I'll tell you about it someday. As many fasts as I've done, it's just, you get used to the phenomenon. It's very simple, it's easy, and you don't sweat it. But I'm just saying, less of all of it. Less food, less drugs, less alcohol, less stimulants, less coffee, less sugar, till you're really just living off of sunlight and breath and sleep. Good sleep and meditation is amazing. And I go into all of that in Thriving in a Dying World. And like I said, all the hardcores loved it. And so I am focused on you. I realize, how we get in this world. And when a man gets to be about my age, he kind of starts getting grounded. But when we're young in our 20s and 30s, and we get this new social media thing. We're like, I want to be somebody. I want to be famous and have all these viewers. And so we show our tits and we show our ass and we show our muscles and we airbrush everything and we say all the right things to everyone. Oh, they like this, but they don't like that. They like this part of my truth, but they don't like that part of my truth. So I'm just going to focus on this part of my truth. And your truth becomes whatever the masses have been programmed with and can accept. But you might be one of the ones, like I said before, like the emperor ain't got no clothes on. Now that might not be the popular viewpoint, but you're looking at it. You and your buddy are standing there going, the emperor ain't got no clothes, and everyone else, the masses, the sheep, they're like, oh, look at the beautiful clothes the emperor has on. You know, and you and your buddy are like, these people can't see, that fool ain't got no clothes on, you know? And so you just see it like it is, and you're not supposed to be seeing it like you do. You're not supposed to have the experiences that you've had. You're not supposed to be aware of this knowledge. But you have to understand right now, it is a, profit over people consciousness. And so, I'm going to have my little thing. I can tell it's going to be like my 2 or 3 hardcore viewers, 200 or 300. That's all. Out of 371,000 subscribers, I get 1,000 views per video or something, So, but I've done the research, especially in the last couple of days, like what's really going on. I found out about, the pharmaceutical companies own everything now, and they do not want holistic natural healing. And I believe that you can heal yourself with the most minimal. And in fact, the body heals itself once you get out of the way. But if you're stuffing yourself with all the corporate food, then you're going to need the corporate drugs, and if you've been exposed to the corporate chemicals, you're going to need more chemicals to manage the symptoms of the breakdown of your brain, your nerves, your glands, your organs, your tissues, and all the irritation and inflammation that causes. So you got to walk around like a zombie, totally dead and totally numb, or you can take the other route, which is the hard road, but it leads to freedom and peace and ease in the body. And getting rid of all that stiffness and all that pain and all that inflammation, it ain't no joke and it ain't no easy walk. I'll tell you that. But, I would rather, they're going to watch these. Dan McDonald is going to be like, oh, one of those guys 50 or 100 years from now, they're going to, oh, this guy was way ahead of the curve, because I can see what's going on, because fresh air and pure water and simple, plain, basic, non-invasive, non-toxic, non-stimulating, nourishing, basic, plain, simple. And I learned that through meditation over the last year and a half, meditating for an hour every morning at 5 a.m. I have had to really look at diet, and that's helped me to understand now why the differences in the diet, because there's differences in people and there's differences in goals. And when you're more like I am, which is the rare, I know, not everyone's life's goal is to learn how to be still and to be quiet in their heart and in their mind. So this morning's meditation was very interesting on the dry fasting. The body was very still, but the mind was very active. But I think that I'm removing a lot of the toxins that I picked up in LA and stuff like that. And then it takes a few days for that level to go. But even when I did a 40-day water fast, my liver still never got cleaned out, because on day 39, I was still releasing sludge and slime and filth. And I've read all the stories about the greats and how long it took them and how many fasts they had to do and what happened, the stories of their complete healing. It doesn't happen on one 10-day water fast or even a fruit diet or a juice fast. It goes way back. You're talking deeply embedded physical toxins, but then you've got all these emotional memories. You've also got a lot of neurons in the brain that actually get amazingly regenerated in your brain. I remember the first 6 months after the fast, after the 40-day fast, my brain I was just really, really well. And then I went to Thailand and I got exposed to white sugar. I didn't know that. And the air was terrible. There was no water to breathe. the Chinese vegetables, because all the vegetables are imported, and I'm trying to, you know, stay healthy, but I knew that I was being exposed, and I just went down, down, down. And then I did a little bit of fasting when I got back and ran into some more stuff, which was like all these old bio-memories from thousands of generations of pain. And so that's why I'm going to dive deep again and see if I'm like Gandalf going in to fight the Balrog of 1,000 generations of pain and abuse and rape and drugs and sadness and depression and abandonment, because I just felt it. I won't even tell you what I saw, but my grandpa's American Indian, drank himself to death. And then other people are even still here that are sad and on drugs. And so I'm thankfully off all drugs. And that's all I want to say, is that there's the possibility of that. And so even though I feel a lot of people thought it was great, and then one guy said this thing sucked, I didn't think it was my best. But I'm glad I went through with it and just pushed ahead, because what I learned from this experience with you is that my hardcore viewers want some information, and over there I can cut loose. And so I'm going to be doing another one, because I think that's a great deal between you and I. It's like $29 for an online class, and then it takes a lot of work to make that happen. I have a whole team of people. It's all a lot of management. It's a lot invested in all kinds of different things. If you're an internet person, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, it just seems like, then you won't know about that. But, business is business. It's like you invest $1 to make $2. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it works. So I am excited about the next one, because I am going to be even more confident in sharing, because I'm only going to be thinking about the people who care. Not the other people that come here, let's see what this crazy whack job's doing today. Click. I get a video, click, they leave. They don't want to learn nothing. They don't want to grow. They don't want to know about fasting, living foods, vitalism, natural healing, detoxification, and total regeneration. So I am just getting started. So for all of you hardcore viewers, thank you. Be patient and pray for me, and I will pray for you. My prayer is that I become the best that I can be, the most knowledge and the most experience that I can be through my own experiences, through meditation, fasting, live foods, nature, and mental brain regeneration is what I've had to do. Brain regeneration and detoxification at very deep levels. And I am going to continue to do that. And when am I done? When is your potential reached? I still feel like I have a lot of potential. I feel like I truly do understand fluoride, aluminum, mercury, and, the aluminum and the Wi-Fi and how it's affecting everyone. And so it's like, I understand if you want to go on the cannabis because the Wi-Fi is so frizzle-frazzle and you're just like, and you're cannabis and you're like, and you get the munchies and you're just like, oh, all right, cool, I don't think the cannabis heals you. I don't think meat heals you. I don't think food heals you. I think the divine consciousness within you knows what it needs to do. It knows what's beneficial, the microbes, your immune system, your DNA. It knows which molecules are beneficial for life-giving purposes, and it knows which molecules are inimical to its highest biological function, and it wants the highest biological function. And so it's going to, the divine intelligence is going to remove that. Most of it comes out your urine, thankfully. Some of it comes out your feces, some of the slime and the sludge from the liver and the gallbladder. But the kidneys usually filter most of it out, and it comes out in the form of mucus. And if you take your urine samples while you're dry fasting or water fasting and you let them settle, you see all that mucus that was in your body causing irritation and pain and stiffness. And then what you do, and most of the food that's going on is not that great. That's why I'm very blessed. 20 years ago, I got blessed with this knowledge of life, and I followed that to the best of my ability. And so I never went with like the vegan burgers and like these big piles of kitchery and lentils and stuff that's really hard to digest and leaves a lot of slime. But I went with the mucusless, low mucus, high protein, high carb, high fat, but high fiber, mucusless food. So the coconuts and the avocados and the macadamia nuts and the almonds are one of my favorite foods. Pistachio nuts, prepared properly like they would have done indigenously because they understood. They were very much more tapped in back then. Nowadays, we just grab a bag of cashews, sit on the couch and be like, I'm totally raw, dude. And you eat a whole bag of unsoaked, unsprouted, unculturized macadamia nuts, or not macadamia, but cashews or macadamia nuts or unsoaked almonds or whatever. And you learn how to like process all that stuff to extract the fats and the proteins, the water solubility, and you learn how to keep yourself hydrated, and you learn how to keep your gut clean and clear so that your brain can be clean and clear. And then you learn how to do the periodic fasting, and then whatever you rebuild yourself on, that's up to you, but really getting down and getting the sponge squeezed out because of what happens in modern pregnancy. And then you're affected by that in your development while your mom is pregnant with you. And depending on what she does is the constitution you'll have, the brain development, the nerve development, the heart development. So what you have to do is you got to take what you've been given through that and do the best you can to regenerate to the highest levels possible. And so I'm just, I would say I'm in the middle of that path, but I still feel like I'm just beginning. So I'm on fire to continue to grow because I want, for my own personal self, when the camera's off, and there is no Instagram and no YouTube and no Facebook and no Insiders Club and there's only Dan, he wants to be his best for himself because it gives him great joy to have discipline. It gives him great joy to be well, to see more balance, because then he wants to come up and be like, hey, how are you? Today I'd like to share some stuff with you because that's what I've been ordained to do. And here's some new stuff. And I tried this dry fasting and here's what I found compared to water fasting versus juice fasting. And here's some information. I hope it makes your life better. And you're like, hey, wow, Dan, you seem more balanced and more stable than I've ever seen you. That's cool. You're growing. You're evolving. I want to grow and evolve. How can I transmit to you what I'm not? In this day and age, anyone can read a bunch of books, get up here, plan out their little outline, have video editing, and they can cherry pick all the science and have no experience, and they can become the expert of the day on YouTube, But real, true life experience is hard earned. And you may not be the greatest marketer because what you find out may not be what everyone wants to hear, but your own experiences are very important. And I feel like I would like to see my goals arrive, in the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual dimensions. And so I'm thankfully have this kind of holistic approach to my own life. And I want to, most importantly, just like in the beginning, I did this for myself, and then I got caught up because of the dopamine from thumbs up and likes, and they like me, and then I got popular, and then Durian Ryder and his hordak of mindless sugar-eating cornflake soy boys came up on me, and that was a brutal time, and there was just a lot of stuff, that went along with that. And now, as a mature man, it's getting to be, okay, I have 200 or 300 hardcore viewers that actually care about me and that can see that I'm a simple guy doing his best and you care about me. And I can feel that. I can feel that from the emails, and I talk to the consults and like, I've been watching your videos for 4 years. I'm finally calling for a consult. This is what's going on. Your videos have helped me make some changes, and it's really nice. And I want to continue on to be here for that. So let me tell you, because I got one more video left to make today. But let me just tell you that, I am dedicated to my own self first. Don't you think that's smart? Don't you think that that's smart, that I should make Dan the best he can be through what his goals and visions are for this life, which isn't, it never was money. It just never was. But this roof, over my head is really, really helpful, because then I can meditate and I can make videos, and then there's Wi-Fi and I can upload. But I'm going to be focused diligently as I get more and more closer to reaching my goals, because I've made a lot of progress the last couple years. It may not be able to be seen on the surface, but I can feel it in my back, my head. I had to do a lot of removal, and I'll tell you about that one of these days, because that's what the world needs, is aluminum, mercury, and fluoride removal from their brain, as well as breaking free from the dopamine addictions and getting into the serotonin. So the great yogis and sages of all time, they were the ones telling you, here's how you get serotonin, so that you're Pono 24/7, 365, and the corporations are the ones that are selling you dopamine, 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 until you're burned out, broken down, strung out on their products and services. And I just don't agree with that personally, because I don't want to be that. I don't want to rely. I watched everyone closest to me, still are, totally strung out. And I really like the realness of my life, because I am sober, and it's taking me a long time to get here. And then it gets into even more nuances. You'll see that someday you might see that you're addicted to salt. Someday you might see you're addicted to hot peppers, whatever, And as you move forward in the yogi path of sadhana and just giving up everything so you can have all that serotonin and all that peace. But some people, they want that ride. Like, I've met a lot of people that are conscious of it. They're like, I want the ups and the downs. And they hate the downs, but the ups are such a rush, whether it's in relationships, new relationships, everyone switches up every 6 months or whatever, because you get all that dopamine in the beginning, and then later on it wears off, all the chemicals. And then you're like, Same thing with all of it. Drugs, food, the internet, social media, and pretty soon you're like, I don't want any of that crap. I want to be just Pono. I want peace with myself. So you can sit still, be calm, and be happy. So the difference between serotonin and dopamine, if you're depressed, look to the gut. And if you're depressed, look to where you're trying to extract happiness and look for happiness outside yourself, when the bliss and the joy and the peace and the ease and the consciousness is within you already. And so it's really a matter of what I've done all these years is break away the layers to get at that. And by no means am I saying that I've arrived or that I'm better than you or better than anyone else. I've never said that. I've never felt that way. And if you knew me in real life, you'd know that I love to just serve. I never say anything to anyone until people come and ask. They're like, I have a tumor. Can you help me? Yes. My friend, she called me last night. I'm sick. Can you help me? So I'm going to make a juice for her, and I'm going to give her some supplements. So, I'm just going to do that kind of thing, So thanks a lot. I think 30 minutes is good enough. I just wanted you to know that I would love your prayers. I appreciate your patience and your understanding, as I truly do work hard when I'm not on social media to do my own path and to get away from the hubbub of social media and the censorship and the whole thing of just my video subscribers haven't moved. I used to get 2, 3, 4, 500 subscribers a day from all these videos that I've made. And that was like a year ago. And now it hasn't budged an inch. And all of my social media platforms are going down, which is fine. I get it. I'm not that politically correct. But Thriving in a Dying World is available for a couple more days. Get that now. That's a prerequisite. And then I promise the next one is going to be even more DTM with more truth. I'll be clearer and brighter when I put that together, and I don't know what it's going to be. I have a few ideas. I'm going to just keep doing that because it's only going to be the inside fold that's going to be able to get the good info, because they're just not right now. Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, it's all pharmaceutical owned. So natural healing is no longer allowed because there's no profit in healthy people and there's no profit in natural healing. And so it's not beneficial for them to allow this information to get out into the world. In fact, several of the videos that I made this week got demonetized. This one might get demonetized too. I don't know. You never know. It's hard to figure out what you said in that video because there's no labels, there's no rules. We don't know, as content creators, we don't know what the set of criteria are. Otherwise, we would just be like, Nikocado Avocado, killing ourselves with just fast food and death. And we have 1.6 million subscribers and we get 200, 300,000 views and we make 20, 30 grand a month on YouTube. Whereas a dude like me, you wouldn't even be surprised. I went from then just like, oh, you can't live on that. So that's why I'm about to bust these things out. I got desperate, and that's what forced me to do it. And then I was like, we should have done this a long time ago, dude. Instead of try so hard to go over there, to fly over and invest thousands of dollars, just sit here and share the knowledge of the DTM that empowers people. So there's not as much production value, but the knowledge, the knowledge is what you need to set yourself free to make good choices, to keep your body clean and clear. And I have a lot of information inside of me that I could not share. When I made Thriving in a Dying World, that was some good stuff that I had to get off my chest. But there is a lot more to come. And we really need to have that discussion. So let's see what happens with this video. Thank you all very much. I learned a lot on this last round of social media. I'm dropping into the Kayak Alpha. It's what I've always wanted to do. I've had to work my way up to this point for sure. But these ancient techniques are the way to go. Can you dig it, baby? God bless you. Peace be with you. Thanks for your love and support. It means a lot to me. It really means a lot to me. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed to have you. I'm very blessed to have done what I've done for the last 11 years and to have that strong foundation of 200 or 300 hardcore viewers that really appreciate what I do. So, aloha, mahalos, peace be with you, Sat Nam.